Okay. Um, Recently I was just going through my photos, collections of my photos, and I stumbled on a picture I had with my dad. I was right there, standing right next to my father, and it brought flashback of beautiful memories, of times we shared together, when I was growing up, and my last days with him, those last conversations, and then of course he used to spank me when I was younger, and I was very disobedient and very stubborn. But one thing that was wonderful for that moment while I was going to when I was just staring at that picture intently for a long time was when I discovered something amazing. I've heard people say things like, "Oh, you look like your father. Oh, you look like your father," but I, for one, never really saw the resemblance. Never. And so I that day I just looked at the picture and I was staring at the both of us, standing right next to each other. So I took time, and the more I was staring at the picture, the more I was seeing the resemblance and the likeness. So the longer we were there, right there together, standing right next to each other, and the longer I kept looking at the picture, the more I was seeing the likeness and the resemblance. All right. So what I'm trying to say is this: I was able to get to see the resemblance and the likeness and more of it, because there I was right next to my father, and I had to take time, and because I remained close to him, right next to him, because that's the picture, of course I'm not going to move, but because I remained right next to him and I was looking at it all along, that was the opportunity for me to see the resemblance very well and the likeness very well, and more of it. Now I'm going to be sharing the reason behind the story today. Now, this is February. The spirit of the moment, love, and the air, and everybody's talking about love and love. So for the month of February, I'm going to be talking, dwelling on love. All right, I'll be dwelling on love. Beautiful thing. Everybody wants to talk about love. It's wonderful. All right, it's a wonderful feeling. But for today's topic, I'm going to looking at this. No one can love you perfectly. That's the topic for today. No one can love you perfectly. Now, my name is Tim May again. Welcome to the sermon. I'm going to be quick about this. Your spouse can't love you perfectly, no matter how hard and how much they so much love you, or they value you. They cherish you. They just can't love you perfectly. Your children can't love you perfectly. You can't love your children perfectly. Your spouse can't love you perfectly, and you can't even love your spouse perfectly. Your parents can't love you perfectly, and you can't love them perfectly. Now, the reason is simple. None of us humans is perfect. So, as expecting perfection in loving or being loved perfectly, it's not even possible. It's near insanity. So, but there's something I call loving near perfection. All right, there's something I call loving near perfection. And how do I mean by loving near perfection? Now, we as humans are naturally, we have we have this selfish tendency, we have this ego, we have this pride, we have this malice, we have bile. We can keep records of bitterness, we can keep records of wrongs. We can be arrogant, we can be selfish, we can think about ourselves first, and all of that. Now, in all of all of these vices, all of this, tendencies are those that make it almost impossible for us to even love in the first place, or even love anywhere halfway to perfection. But you will ask, you want to wonder. There are some people that they have this beautiful love, and some people their love is so mwah, so wonderful. Now, the reason it's simple because they've been able to work on some of these negative tendencies, selfishness, ego, malice, and bile, and all of that. And that is why they are able to love that good. But I have a good news for you. Now, you can be able to love near perfection, and you can be able to be loved near perfection. If if on condition you do one thing, and I'm going to share it quickly. Now, let me take you back to the beginning. And we were all created by God, and God is love, and God is the embodiment of love. Everything about God is love. Now, since we are created in the image and the likeness of God, it means now that we have some of those attributes of God, which is love. All right? So now, if we do have those likeness and those characteristics of our God and our Maker who made us, and that for this particular discussion is love, then that is why we are capable of loving. That is why even the worst of villains still have love. The murderer, the kidnappers, whatever, the killers and serial killers, they still somehow love. Even if it's not a human being, but at least they love animals, they love nature, they love something. But trust me, somehow they love someone. Even if they don't express it, somehow there's someone they love. Now, because it's in our nature to love, because our God who created us loves. But how much love we dispense depends on individual. And sometimes mostly depends on our perception of ourselves and what we want for ourselves. All right. But that's not the topic. That's not what I'm going to dwell today. I'm just going to dwell on the fact that no one can love you perfectly. And let me conclude this conversation. Now, for you to be able to love near perfection, then it means you need to draw closer to your Father. And because your Father, who is God that made you, is love, the closer you are to your Father, the closer you have those likeness and those resemblance of His love. So the more closer you are, and the more you remain closer, then the more of those virtues and those characteristics of His loving, and you will exhibit. Now, the farther you stay from Him, the less of that love you will show to anyone, and not even to yourself. But the closer you are, and the more you remain close, right there with the Father, the more you can be able to love better and near perfection, because God is perfect. Now, the reason you can never love perfectly is because you're human and this body is never perfect. And because it's never perfect, as long as you remain in this body, no way you can never love perfectly. Until you are out of this body, out of this flesh, then probably you can love perfectly. But for now, forget about it. But there's hope. Like I said, you can love near perfection, or you can be loved near perfection. So now, how do you find that person who loves near perfection, and how can you love near perfection? I've told you how you can love near perfection. Move closer to the God who made you, who is God of love and who is love and everything, because love is God, God is love. So the closer you remain with the Father, the more you can be able to love near perfection. And when you find someone too that is this close to God, this person too will be able to exhibit same characteristics and attributes of the Father, which is love and near perfection. So you are close to God. This person, the person you married to or dating, is near to God. And so, of course, you are loving each other near perfection. And so, how beautiful will that be? Now, until you both are close to God, you love God, because you need to love God to be close to God, then you cannot be able to love yourself near perfection. And you can't be able to have that beautiful love and beautiful relationship you have, because if you don't have this closeness to the Father and have this striking resemblance and likeness with Him and remain there, you are not capable of loving to near perfection. And of course, you're always going to have love based on condition. You're going to love people based on the condition. You're going to love people based on moments and moods. You're going to love people based on circumstances. You're going to love people for yourself, for what you want. You're going to be looking out for yourself, in love, because God doesn't even looking out for Himself, for us. God doesn't keep records of our wrongs. As long as we just you go before Him and you confess and ask for forgiveness, He forgives you and He cleans it right off. But you're good, He never forgets. He keeps them. So imagine you have a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend, you're dating someone who never keeps records of your wrong. Or even if they do, they try the best they can not to use it against you. Or they try the best they can not to love you based on that, or to increase the love or to reduce the love they have for you based on those things. You just can't imagine how beautiful that is. But you cannot have that, and you cannot be able to do that away from the Father, who doesn't keep records of wrong, but rewards you good. When you have that as a person, because you're close to the Father, then you're going to have a wonderful relationship. You're going to have this wonderful love. You give this good love, and you receive this good love. And then you will be able to be happy. The genuine happiness, genuine joy, and genuine, surround yourself with all the beautiful things that love can do and love can bring. I know love is beautiful, and all we all do, we want to love and want to be loved back, right? Now, first of all, in conclusion, go out there with this closeness to God kind of love. And trust me, God is kind enough. And if you wait for Him, He's going to help you through to find that right person who's going to be capable to love you just like you do, with this close to God kind of love. And it's going to be a perfect union, a perfect moment, and a perfect combination. And until then, I just want you to remain in love. I just want you to love God. Just move closer to God before you go out there and shooting your shots. But even if you're already there, then move closer to God and see how things is going to change. Talk to your spouse, find a way to get your spouse to move closer to God. Or both of you talk to yourself, move closer to God on your own ends. Then you see how closer your love is going to be, because now you're loving like the Father does love you unconditionally. I love you. Take care of yourself. And this is the message, just like I said, about the likeness and resemblance between me and my Father. And that's the essence of the story. So take care of yourself and go out there and love. Stay safe. Valentine's Day is here, and make sure you do the right thing. I love you.